Imagine waking up on a quiet morning, only to find a wild fox in labor near your home, her mate crying out for help. Would you step in to save her? In a quiet town called Maple Creek in the northern United States, there lived an elderly man named George Ellis. He stayed in a simple wooden house near the edge of the forest. George loved silence and nature. Every morning he would sit on his old wooden chair, sipping a cup of tea, feeling the cold morning dew on the grass, and listening to the birds sing. But one morning, everything changed. From a distance, George spotted a pair of wild foxes in his backyard. At first, they hid among the bushes, silently watching him. The male had thick orange fur, while the female appeared smaller, her belly noticeably swollen. She looked pregnant. Though they didn't come too close, George felt a mix of curiosity and concern. He started leaving food and water on the porch, hoping the foxes would feel safer. Over the days, the male remained protective, especially when the female approached the food. As spring approached, George's worry grew. Sudden rain showers and lingering cold made him fear the mother fox might not find a safe place to give birth. Then, one chilly dawn, George heard a strange sound from behind his house. He rushed outside to see the male fox pacing nervously, while the female lay beside the bushes, gasping, her eyes filled with pain. George realized she was in labor, but something was wrong. He slowly approached, raising his hands to show he meant no harm. He sat at a safe distance, observing. The male fox growled occasionally, but didn't attack. George whispered softly, trying to calm them both, then leaned in to examine the mother's belly. Drawing from his past experience helping his dogs give birth, he suspected the baby fox wasn't in the right position. Gently, he touched her belly and felt the intense contractions. He carefully adjusted her position to ease the process. She resisted a little, but eventually calmed down, as if she understood his intention. Minutes passed like hours, until at last, she began to push. A small head appeared. George used a clean cloth to wipe its mouth and nose, helping it breathe. The first fox cub was born. But it wasn't over. There were more. The labor continued. With each cry, George welcomed a new life. The second, then the third, fourth, and finally, the fifth. The mother was exhausted, breathing heavily, but her eyes never left her newborns. The male fox moved closer, no longer hostile. He sniffed the tiny cubs and looked at George. Not with fear, but with something that resembled gratitude. When the labor was done, George gently placed the cubs near their mother to nurse. He brought clean water and soft meat, placing it within her reach. The male fox sniffed the food first, then allowed her to eat. The scene was like something out of a dream, nature revealing its most tender side. You heard that? George sat on the ground, his heart full of peace. He wasn't just an old man in a quiet town anymore. He had witnessed and helped create a small miracle of life. Quietly, he stepped back, giving the new family space. As the morning sun lit the dew-covered grass, George smiled. It was a moment he would never forget, where kindness, patience, and love came together in one magical memory.